Welcome to The Explainer. You know, if you've ever tried searching for professional help for your dog, you probably already know it's a total jungle out there. It gets overwhelming fast. Today, we're actually stepping into the shoes of a prospective client to evaluate a pretty fascinating case study, the BayK9 business model. I'll be guiding us through the master strategy behind this incredibly structured organization.
And I'll be playing the role of the utterly overwhelmed dog owner today. Because let's be honest, looking at the pet industry from the outside, it's chaos. I really want to know how a business like this actually provides real peace of mind and, verifiable results for someone like me.
Absolutely. We are going to break down their entire framework today. We'll move from their micro-level market analysis all the way up to their macro-level trauma-informed ecosystem. So, let's just dive right in.
Here's the executive framework we're going to use today to map out the BayK9 ecosystem. First, we'll look at the search for a trainer, then the 5-division framework. From there, we'll hit the microanalysis and intelligence they use to evaluate the market, check out their operational matrix, and finally, see how it all ties together into a trauma-informed ecosystem.
All right, starting off with Section 1, the search for a trainer and navigating the pet industry.
Yeah, so this is where the friction really kicks in for a regular client. When you first realize you need help, maybe it's a crazy new puppy causing chaos or a serious behavioral issue, you hop online and bam, you're immediately bombarded with conflicting advice. It's ridiculously hard to know who to trust or even what questions you're supposed to be asking before handing over your hard-earned money and, more importantly, your dog's safety.
And that actually brings us to a really crucial starting point. I was looking at an article from the Dog Mom Lifestyles blog about the top 10 questions to ask before hiring a trainer. And they highlight a massive one. What is their philosophy and approach to training? As a client, I want a business whose values line up with mine, but I also desperately need clear, safe, and verifiable results. How do I even know if a trainer has a real methodology or if they're just kind of guessing?
Right, and that is the exact core problem BayK9 is solving. The contemporary pet industry is just saturated with what BayK9's intelligence briefing calls emotional marketing. It sells this idea of idealized, irresponsible freedom, but completely lacks the structure to back it up.
Oh, totally. Like that magical idea that just loving your dog enough will automatically fix serious behavioral issues?
Precisely. BayK9, on the flip side, positions itself as a premier analytical authority. They treat dog training as a rigorous discipline. We're talking risk matrices, analyzing a dog's genetic blueprint, and a heavy focus on verifiable results over those flashy quick fixes. They're appealing directly to owners who value predictability and safety above all else.
Moving on to Section 2, the 5-division framework, or the macro ecosystem. To really grasp how they deliver on that promise of predictability, we have to look at their overarching business structure. Because it's not just one guy with a leash and a pocket full of treats, it is a massive, carefully orchestrated operation. Their internal master strategy brilliantly illustrates this approach. Instead of trying to cram every possible canine service under one single super confusing brand umbrella, they intentionally separate the business into highly focused divisions. This is a game changer. It prevents overlapping service ownership, clarifies their website structure, and lets them perfectly target different audiences without diluting their core message. Okay, seeing these 5 divisions laid out, it's seriously impressive. But as a prospective client who just has, say, a dog that won't stop chewing my shoes, where do I even fit into this giant corporate structure? That's the beauty of the whole setup. You would enter through the main BayK9 division, which handles general training and behavior. But just knowing the other divisions exist gives you incredible peace of mind. You've got Service Dog Shield for highly specialized service dog consulting. Legal Canine Shield deals with intense, court-related behavioral consulting and animal control matters. Then there's Bay Area Shepherds, focusing on breed-specific working dog foundations. And they even have a B2B arm, Pet Industry Consulting. You might only need basic obedience right now, but you're hiring a network with the expertise to handle high-stakes legal cases and complex service dog training. It's a massive safety net.
Section 3, microanalysis and intelligence, evaluating the market.
So they clearly have this massive structure, but how does BayK9 actually ensure their specific methods are the absolute best in their local market? Like, how do they know what all their competitors are missing?
Well, their internal memos reveal exactly how they figure that out. Before BayK9 even expands their mentor systems or learning pathways, they rigorously map out the market. They build this intensive competitor intelligence sheet to give themselves a rock-solid foundation. They aren't just guessing what the market needs, they are analytically proving it.
Just look at the specific micro-level intelligence metrics they're tracking.
They aren't just peeking at what other trainers charge. They're doing deep dives into competitors' training methodologies, their certifications, what online courses they offer, and even their SEO authority and ranking keywords.
Wow, so they're literally hunting for the exact gaps in the market. Like maybe they notice no one else is offering trauma-informed care or robust online support, and then they build their specialized training schools to fill those exact voids?
You hit the nail on the head. This deep intelligence layer is what dictates their entire strategy.
Which brings us to Section 4, the operational matrix, specifically their 4 service tiers. So let's move from that high-level business intelligence down to the actual ground-level client experience. If you are that client walking through their doors, how do they categorize your specific needs?
They use this operational marketing matrix, which acts as a brilliant intelligence briefing. It maps out the core narrative, the target demographic, and the exact value proposition for each type of client they serve. It basically guarantees that their marketing directly addresses both the emotional and practical needs of the owner at every single level of intervention.
So, if my dog has that foundational friction we talked about earlier, jumping on guests, pulling on the leash, stealing a sandwich off the counter, where exactly do I land in this matrix?
You would land right in Tier 1. They map out 4 distinct operational demographics here. Tier 1 is companion dog training. If things escalate and your dog becomes reactive or aggressive, you'd move to Tier 2, behavioral modification. Tier 3 is highly specialized service dog selection, and Tier 4 is for animal control interventions, which deals with actual legal liability.
Let's zoom in on Tier 1 for a second, since that is where most prospective clients start. The target demographic here is busy families and first-time owners. The core narrative is all about moving you from that idealized, chaotic freedom to structured, everyday reliability.
I really love that they have a specific tool for this too, the 7-day foundational structure checklist.
Yes, exactly. It's this incredibly practical step-by-step guide to establishing household boundaries and basic impulse control before formal training even begins. The value proposition is literally converting chaotic household dynamics into a predictable lifestyle. It's a total game changer for stressed owners.
All right, Section 5, a trauma-informed ecosystem, managing risk.
Okay, but what if my situation is a lot darker than just leash pulling? Say my dog actually bit someone or has severe fear-based aggression, or I'm even facing a legal citation. That level of liability is absolutely terrifying. And honestly, I think a lot of owners are deeply ashamed to even ask for help. They just expect to be judged.
And that shame is exactly what BayK9 aims to eliminate through what they call trauma-informed management. Instead of blaming the owner, they objectively assess the interaction between the dog's genetic blueprint and their environmental stressors. By communicating in a way that makes clients feel supported rather than judged, they significantly lower the barrier to entry for those intensive, high-ticket intervention packages. They are quite literally restoring emotional stability to the household. To help owners feel in control right off the bat, they offer advanced, analytical self-evaluation tools. For Tier 2, there's the Behavior Risk Matrix Assessment to help you categorize your dog's specific triggers. For Tier 3, they have the Service Dog Candidate Blueprint that outlines exact temperament criteria. And for Tier 4, the Crisis Containment Protocol. That's amazing. So if I'm facing a behavioral crisis, I instantly get an action plan for safety and containment before I even step foot in their facility. That is just incredible risk management.
Precisely. And we can see how this builds out into Tier 4. This briefing highlights their animal control interventions. Look, this isn't just dog training anymore. This is navigating the legal ledger. They provide professional risk assessment and structured rehabilitation plans to satisfy court mandates and mitigate ongoing civil liability. They're acting as a complete handler-centric safety net.
Section 6, the synergistic ecosystem and funnel architecture. Okay, so we've got basic obedience on one end and high-stakes legal defense and service dog training on the exact opposite end. How does a client seamlessly navigate between these extremes? Because it feels like it could easily be super disjointed.
That brings us to their synergistic funnel architecture. It's a very logical, step-by-step pathway. Step 1, a client enters the funnel simply looking for basic companion training. Step 2, through their content and training, that client is systemically educated on risk mitigation, genetics, and handler profiles. Step 3, because of that ongoing education, if their dog's genetics or their lifestyle demands it, they naturally become prime candidates for those advanced behavioral programs. The education literally graduates them to the right service level.
And the reverse is also true. There's a vital feedback loop built right into their business model. Successfully handling these complex, high-stakes behavioral and legal cases establishes massive market authority for BayK9.
Oh, right.
Because if I know a company successfully rehabs court-mandated dangerous dogs, I'm absolutely going to trust them to teach my golden retriever not to pull on the leash. Their success at the top drives organic word-of-mouth enrollment for their foundational programs down at the bottom.
Reflecting back on that initial advice from the Dog Mom Lifestyles blog, they said, if something feels off, it's probably a sign not to hire them. You must go with your gut instinct. Well, after mapping out this entire business model today, my gut instinct as a prospective client is that a highly structured, objective, and trauma-informed ecosystem provides the ultimate peace of mind. It just takes the guesswork entirely out of the equation.
And that is the ultimate takeaway we wanted to highlight today. By evaluating the BayK9 model, we can clearly see how moving away from emotional marketing and toward a disciplined, multi-divisional framework benefits both the business and the dog owner. So, we'll leave you with this final provocative question to evaluate your own choices. Does your current training plan rely on chaotic emotional marketing or a structured, trauma-informed, analytical ecosystem? Thanks for joining us for this explainer, and we'll catch you next time.